Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks for coming. I'm very happy to open our Gen Invest 2025 meeting. I want to encourage those who are sitting on the sidelines. We welcome you to be at the table. All are welcome. So if you're interested in coming up and joining us, you're more than we'd rather have you at the table if you're comfortable with that. So a little bit of context and background, if I can. I think by now, being at this event, for those of you that are relatively new to Gen, you know about us. We are in the process of building out, deepening, and widening the engagement of all of the leaders in the global entrepreneurial ecosystem. And as I mentioned in my talk on Monday, we have a very clear strategy over the next 10 years for how we want this set of communities across the world, 25,000 organizations, to be an extraordinary powerhouse for our planet overall, not just tackling the biggest problems that we tackle in the world in terms of climate change, in terms of poverty, in terms of many of the things that we know we need to do in terms of building robust economies, but also in terms of improving the role that new diplomats have, as we call them, in this field of trying to maintain the level of trust that already exists among the people who enjoy the culture of building, testing, iterating, and figuring out better ways of doing things. Obviously, part of this mission is to make sure that we have all the actors at the table. And as you well know, we actually have this room because traditionally we have found one of the most important actors that often got left out of the entrepreneurship equation were governments. And so we assemble them on a regular basis, trying to build a collegiate environment among policymakers at the domestic level who are looking at what are the various regulatory issues that they can share in terms of how they're tackling, as well as looking at which programs work and which don't in removing barriers to entrepreneurship. Obviously, as you heard yesterday, the leaders of this pyramid for us are the founders. Without their success, there's not much other reason for us to be there. And clearly, there's a whole community of people that are supporting those founders and the ecosystem leaders that we have part of it. But at the end of the day, the investor communities perhaps are the engine behind the entire process. And so we began our work similar to the Kauffman Foundation, from which Jem we were cut out of the cloth of the Kauffman Foundation, really, with a broader mission of how do you grow economies, how do you create jobs through entrepreneurship. And at the same time, at the Kauffman Foundation, we looked at the fact that about 15 years ago, we realized that whenever politicians or the public were talking about the investor side of the house, they used this term venture capital. There was no understanding of early stage investors. There was no distinction with institutional venture and individual investors. And so we created within the foundation what became the Angel Capital Association. And of course, that drove the creation of a global business angels network. This is something we did deliberately, which is to overemphasize the importance of early stage investors, because there was already plenty of emphasis on the emerging venture capital community, obviously made famous through Silicon Valley. We've now, shall I say, corrected that imbalance, and we're now more in an environment where we feel that the Gen Invest community needs to expand beyond the early and back with the venture capital community. We are actively involved in engagement with family offices, with individual investors, and with the variety of entities that form the investor community, namely the efforts to build and create funds in parts of the world where they didn't exist, and also with a lot of the platforms that have emerged that are making this a lot easier to do for societies that had less capacity and infrastructure. I want to thank you all for being the, shall I say, the early adapters within our community in this. I would want to stress that, our mission remains to make sure that what we try to do at GEN is get the right capital in the right hands at the right time, but ultimately we need to make sure that what happens for us is effective for you as investors. So we're looking very carefully at listening to precisely where the needs are of some of our investor communities. Yes, we have a lot of cross-border deals happening. We have and syndication. We have a lot of sharing of knowledge and networks around how to build, particularly early stage, but now overall investor capacity in nations where that capacity has been limited. And we have strong partnerships with many of our investor networks now in, I think, 93 countries. So many of them are not here today, but they are all part of the network that you gain access to. I'll just conclude with a little bit of a practical note, and that is that our work at GEN, we have our GEN founder work is growing at breakneck pace. We're getting about 100,000 new founders into our network every year. We have 700 of them that came today for this week. And as we look to make the network more useful for the founder and for the investor, we have developed Founder Investor. We've got Investor Connect platform, and we have a Founder Connect platform that will allow more connectivity between our founder communities and our investor communities. We haven't pushed that until now because we felt like we needed to have a robust community on both sides to make that worthwhile. But I noticed that if you've not been participating in it, there's some very specific, direct investor-founder connectivity happening this week that's been designed in advance. So we're all ears as to how we can make that useful, and what are the strengths and limitations you're having as you look to engage in the ecosystem. And we have plenty new partners looking to figure out how do we make the path easier for you in the years ahead. So without further ado, I'm going to turn over to Israel. Is that right? Why not? Okay. You said Linda. Okay, to Israel.
Yes.
We're very proud to say Israel and Linda serve on the board of the Global Business Angels Network, have both been big advocates and engaged very actively in building our angel investor networks in different countries. And over to you from Israel from Mexico. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning to you all. Thank you, Jonathan. And first of all, a big round of applause and congratulations to my colleague Linda on winning the Compass Award last night. Well done, Linda. Now, I'm very happy that we have a number of members of the Invest community here. I recognize many of you from our event in Puerto Rico and or previous events around the globe. I'd like to talk a little bit about GBAN and GEN Invest Council, something that was born in Puerto Rico. And as I will let Linda talk more about how GBAN was born, because I think she was here from day one. And then later on, I was kindly invited and honored to join GBAN. But there was one initiative that we were very much aware, as Jonathan mentioned, how we could connect more entrepreneurs with the community of GEN Invest. And more so, how can we connect the community of GEN Invest with each other. So some of these events are amazing because we get to see each other in person. We get to exchange a few words, and some of us manage to grab a coffee and talk about what we're doing in our region or what we're doing in our country with regards to supporting through investment at early stage all of these entrepreneurs that come and knock on our doors. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't have enough. As you know, there's 3 or 4 days here, but the agenda is so packed that sometimes we don't have enough time to talk to each other and create that relationship where one could probably end up doing collaboration, co-investment, or simply giving each other great tips on how to have a quicker way of funding entrepreneurs, but also better ways of looking where the exit can be. Or the challenge of where is the next round coming from and who's going to follow me up because I'm the only man, putting petrol into this car. So one of the answers to that challenge was an initiative that we launched in Puerto Rico in the GEC Plus. In the Latin American region, we came with an agreement, a goodwill agreement from then, that the Gen Invest Council for LATAM will look into linking angel investors, VCs, family offices, and institutional money coming into the entrepreneurs. That's something that we signed up to and made a commitment that we will start looking at those strategies and seeing how we can then create this, not only a cross-border co-investment, but really just a co-investment within the country. Sometimes the angel networks, that it might be 3, 4, or 5 in one country in Latin America, they don't even talk to each other about the portfolio they have and what they would like to invest in. And as we know, early stage investment is all about sharing the risk, having others to co-invest with you. So one of the things that we have been looking into, as Jonathan mentioned, is how can we then create this Gen Invest Council into a global movement for all the countries that take part, either through a VC, a angel group, or family offices, or institutional money, so that we can also, any best practices that are shared around this table, we can immediately deploy and share that information with others. The deals will come later. And I think, first of all, we just need to create that community between ourselves. Gen Invest was created with the objective of how can we make sure that that money comes quicker, better, and clever to the entrepreneurs that are there looking for it. And sometimes in certain regions, you could invest as an angel network or as a VC in a country neighboring to you to support another entrepreneur if that region or that country doesn't have a very active investment community or quite mature or with good practices. And that's what we want to do. We want to look at what else can we then look at our neighbor countries and say, come with me, we can do some co-investment together. So we will have a time to do a conversation between all of us. The program will look as following. We will ask each one of you to introduce yourselves. If you have, what impact have you got in the investment community that you might have from your country, your region. And I mention region because it's very important also for us. We have seen that sometimes all the knowledge that we have and all the tools that we can share with the countries doesn't necessarily need to be done in the capital cities. Most of them are quite mature and have the tools to create an angel network or an investment community within the capital city. But the regions get forgotten. And that's where we see that it can be very important to start creating angel groups in regions where normally the capital is not ready to be deployed or on the certain practices. So without further ado, I pass the microphone to my dear colleague, Linda.
Thank you very much, Israel. On behalf of the United States, as the host country for this GEN event, I want to welcome all of you again, and thank you very much for coming from either close or far, wherever you travel to get to Indianapolis. My name is Linda Smith, and I serve on the Global Business Angel Network as one of the board members. We're a 5-member board, so Israel represents Latin America. I have the opportunity to represent North America. We also have an African representative, Asian representative, and European representative. So we attempt to cover the globe and to provide the networking and the interactions between angel groups and angel networks around this great place called Mother Earth. My second hat is I am the former chairman of the board of the Angel Capital Association. That's the United States organization that represents over 400 angel groups. We have over 15,000 active angel investors in that professional organization in every state in the United States. I'm going to give you some few data statistics to respond to Israel's challenge about sharing a little bit with you. Of those 15,000, we have a lot of room to grow because there are actually in the United States about 300,000 active angel investors, investing on average about $24 billion a year in startups. But to put that in perspective, that's about the same amount of money as we see venture capitalists deploying each year. However, angels invest in 15 times more companies than venture capitalists. So our checks are smaller, but we're trying to really significantly expand where we're deploying dollars and encouraging innovation. I think the other thing that maybe sticks in my mind is that there are over 6 million American citizens that qualify under our legal system, the legal definitions, to be accredited investors. So we have plenty of opportunity to grow the angel investing network here in the United States. It's a work in progress through the professional organization of Angel Capital Association, and also encouraging, as we're beginning to, through the GBAN, the cross-border investing opportunities for those of us who may be domiciled in the United States, but really recognize that innovation and great ideas are everywhere in the world. So we're encouraging more deployment of capital around the world. So I'll stop with those comments and encourage Alejandro to see how we'd like to go around the table.
Wonderful. No, and thanks everyone for being here. I am excited to kick off this Gen Invest Roundtable. I want this to be a special opportunity for all of you to connect, to share all your information about your ecosystem, share with you what are some odds, gives. But I would like to start first now by asking everyone around the table to share your name, your organization, your country, your region, and we can keep going on the roundtable, and then we'll have a small conversation between each other. But then we're gonna go for, and everyone that has prepared their presentation for the region will start sharing updates about their ecosystem. I think it's a really great opportunity. The Gen Invest meeting is that we get everyone to be here sitting at the table in person, which usually is not so easy, especially in these times. So without further ado, I wanted to kick it off. My name is Alejandra Molina. I am the director of Gen Invest for Global Entrepreneurship Network. And I am originally from Peru, but based in New York, so United States as well. Do you want to go left or right? Yeah, we're going to go right.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Glad to be here. My name is Nicolas Rohana. I come from Beirut, Lebanon. I run a VC fund, early stage, and an angel groups as well. I'm here representing, I'm a board member of EBAN, European Business Angel Network, and I'm here on their behalf as well. So EBAN is the European voice for angel investing. It groups more than 10,000 individual angels. It's the groups, federations, and networks of more than 50 countries, particularly in Europe and all across the world.
Perfect, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Viviana Angulo. I am from Bolivia. I'm the former president of the Venture Capital Association in Bolivia, which I funded 2 years ago. I have an accelerator program and an innovation boutique in my country.
Hello, good morning. My name is Juan Manuel Porcaro. I'm a managing partner in Draper Cygnus, a VC fund investing in deep tech Latino founders. I had the chance to raise a syndicate for angels in Argentina. I like to present myself as a LATAM ecosystem builder. I collect the roundtable of almost 12 Latin America associations in Latin America and helped raise 6 associations that didn't exist in the past. One of them, Bolivia, Uruguay, Ecuador, Central America, and many others. So happy to be here and connect.
Good morning. My name is Juan Martín Ninfea. Thank you, Alejandra, for inviting me. I'm from Córdoba, Argentina. I'm managing director of Pampa Start Venture Capital. Our VC company invests only in agri-food technologies. And one of our highlights is we are working with farmers to involve them like LPs in the venture capital industry. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Fernanda Vireni. I'm from Argentina, Rio Cuarto. This is not a capital city. And here I am representing AgTech Cluster. I am the cluster manager. And with this initiative, we want to join government, universities, and private companies. Some ones are startups, AgTech startups, and other ones are agricultural companies, and we want to get in lab them. I mean, to create more technology for farming. And well, we are trying to build this ecosystem as a powerful one to be recognized all around the world. Thank you.
Sashi from Sri Lanka, that's in South Asia. We are setting up a fund of funds to support our startups in Sri Lanka, especially ensuring that they are able to be funded from at least from pre-seed to Series A, and funds to be available within the country. That's our ambition, to support them. And the ICT agency that I belong to are setting up a digital public infrastructure so that it will be open and transparent when it comes to the fund movement for investors as well, and hence want to invite collaboration and discussion through this in the engaging venture funds and angels with Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miriam Lazarte. I'm original from Colombia. I'm based in Toronto, in Ontario, Canada. Right now, I represent Global Startups and GSA Ventures. Global Startups is an accelerator. We have been working with over 300 startups over the last 9 years. 2 of them became unicorn in 2022. That triggered to have my own venture capital firm. I started with GSA Ventures just last year, and this year I started raising. We are supporters of immigrant in tech. Right now, our community represents 40 countries, 15 languages speaking, so 50% of the community is Latin American, and we have people coming from South Asia, Africa, and some other places. Happy to be here and connecting with everyone here.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Fox. I wanted to thank Linda and Israel, and especially Alejandra, who has worked really hard to make this happen. It's great to see you all again. I'm an angel investor based in Southern California, and active with groups like Tech Coast Angels and Stanford Angels, and a variety of different groups, especially targeting, personally anyway, software, women, and minority entrepreneurs. I'm also here as representative of startupcouncil.org, which is a community service platform that we're building to connect early-stage founders worldwide better together. And I brought 2 delegations, one from Southern California and one from Detroit. We brought a busload of folks from my hometown of Detroit, thanks to my friend here, Doug.
Hi, I'm Doug Song. I'm a former founder of was Michigan's first unicorn and multi-billion-dollar exit, and since then we've had 10 more. I'm now an investor. We have a family office. We have a foundation. But in the last 2 years, I've been investing in about 17 countries with a group called 42 Geeks. And so if you're familiar with 42geeks.com, I invite you to all join us on our global geek tour, because we go to all these countries, pair up with other folks, and invest all across them.
Morning, everyone. Probably the newest and the freshest Angel Network representative. I'm from Nepal. I'm Dr. Bishal Dhaka. And my journey started with GEN itself, and I'm participating in GEN for the third time. First one was romantic. I stated yesterday also. Second one, actually, I got to meet Tommy Davis and Padmaja. And these are the stalwart of the African Angel Network and Indian Angel Network. And our ecosystem, as me, myself being an entrepreneur, didn't have a capital access when I was early stage startup. And that pain actually went up to decade to raise the first round of fund, and I had a pain point on that. So I shared with Tommy, and he gave me a way to think about how an angel network might be an access for the future of the entrepreneurs, and how even poor country like Nepal can even dare about it. So that hand-holding actually got me over here in this table today. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Israel, and everybody else. I think I'm going to learn a lot, and probably also I reached out to Padmaja once we decided to come up with a Nepal Angels Network, that she said, okay, I'm going to mentor you. Probably this seat was hers, and I got it today because she said, like, represent the ecosystem, go and talk about what we're doing in South Asia. So today, Sasi is here. Another friend of mine, Kasim, is here from Pakistan. He's not in table. But we're thinking about doing something together to breach the South-South coalition in South Asia, which might be interesting to even see what GBAN or GBAN is doing in the other part of the world. So the thing is, like, we may have a future of an Asian Angel Network coming up together. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rodrigo Paulilo. I'm from Brazil. I'm the founder and CEO at Ready Plus Group. We work as an ecosystem builder in Brazil, and we have corporate innovation and acceleration startup programs. But I'm also an angel investor myself, and I run an angel group in the northeast of Brazil. And I'm starting a VC fund to focus on female founders in Brazil as well. But now I'm representing here Anjos do Brasil, the largest angel group association, and I will talk a little bit later about what we are doing there in Brazil. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Shalliel with HG Ventures. I'm based here in Indianapolis. We're a corporate venture capital arm. Of a company called the Heritage Group. Has a lot of sustainability-oriented businesses, construction materials, and we invest about $50 million each year. To date, we've invested in North America and Europe. We've been interested in identifying other opportunities to invest more globally, but have had some challenges in getting the structure in place to make sure that that's done well. So we're very much interested in trying to find out how we can continue to support those entrepreneurs and create more value.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Stefan Recchi. I'm the executive director of GenSpace. I also run a trust-based angel group based out of New York City. I'm here and honored to be here to talk about the potential of access to space in terms of investment. So there's space for space, space for Earth, and Earth for space. It's an awareness that everyone should have that you can invest in space. And of course, it crosses all the geographies that Linda mentioned, and it'd be great to have a sixth entity for space. But the reality is you don't have to be a billionaire to invest in space. And that's what our mission is, to connect the stakeholders, namely the investors, with the founders. And again, it's not just the deep tech in space, it's anything that people want to leverage space for their business needs.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be with you. So my name is Rabia Azioud. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Hasub, and I'm representing the Palestinian community inside Israel. So in Israel, I don't know how many of you know, but inside Israel, there's 20% of the population are from the Palestinian Arab Society. So, and we, until now, we are not being part of the tech and entrepreneurship ecosystem and fully fulfilled in this ecosystem. So we started Hasoub 11 years ago as a grassroots movement and evolved to be the leading organization in promoting tech and entrepreneurship. And what's relating to investment, 5 years ago, we understood that there are people with money from our society that doesn't know how to invest in tech. They didn't make their money in tech. So we started with an educational program on how to become an angel investor. And we started to train people, business, second generation family businesses, professionals, tech executives in how to invest. And gradually we established an angel club. And today we are not only doing the educational part, but we established a subsidiary under Hasoub called Hasoub Angels. And we started to actually invest as Hasoub Angels. So looking forward to connect with many of you here and hopefully to invest together. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Maria. I'm founder and director at Spanish for Entities. We are a language institute, B2B, so we look forward to act as a builder, an ecosystem builder for soft skills and training, corporate language training. We also act in the education part with a non-for-profit for circulation of books in schools, and I'm so pleased to be here and be able to connect with organizations and cross-cultural ecosystem.
Carlos Jimenez from Puerto Rico. I am in the other side of the table. I usually work hand to hand with the Investables ideas. In Puerto Rico, I didn't know how many things happened in the Puerto Rico event last year. And I am glad that this agreement happened there. As an entrepreneur, a professor at the University of Puerto Rico, and an economic builder, in Puerto Rico we still don't have the unity of the investors. They are all very individualistic. And I am here just to learn on how to put them all together. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ava Nadir. I am from Iraq. I'm a co-founder and the president of Global Entrepreneurship Network Iraq chapter. And I'm a former policy maker and a commissioner at Communication and Media Commission in Iraq. I consider myself one of the biggest advocates for entrepreneurship and led many initiatives to contribute to change the policy around unleashing the potential of entrepreneurship and the ecosystem in Iraq. I came here, I'm the national delegate, and I'm happy that I managed to form a really very diverse group of Iraqi member in the Society of Entrepreneurship, from legislator, policymaker, and entrepreneurship and innovators. But unfortunately, I couldn't manage to bring any investor to the table. So one of my objectives, to be honest, to be in this conference and on this table, to see how we can bring a new idea or convince our society and create the culture of investment, angel investment in Iraq. And thank you for Jen Global to give me this opportunity and be in this prestigious gathering. And thank you so much.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Savantis Lee. I'm from Taiwan. Thank you, Scott Fox, introduced me to this amazing conference. I here represent an organization, nonprofit education called Asian Innovation Hub. We're a formal partnership with NASA Entrepreneurial Center in Taiwan, but we are doing cross Asia, majority in East Asia countries. So we're bringing entrepreneur maybe at a later stage, B round, C round, or D round, to have aspiration to get capital access to NASDAQ. So it's a formal education foundation. We mimic whatever NASDAQ Center is doing here. We try to bring to China, to Taiwan, to Korea right now. And the next phase will be in Vietnam and Philippines. Thank you so much.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Kristen Welch, part of the Michigan delegation, and I'm an angel investor in a very robust group in a suburb of Detroit, also an LP in Midwest region VCs, and I used to manage the venture capital investments for Ford Motor Company, so kind of a different corporate perspective on that. Great to be here.
Hello, I'm Angela Hayes. I'm here from the United States, here in Bloomington, Indiana. I'm with Dorio, a company that we are establishing an unheard of approach to startup investing, trying to engage the retail market, but also to make it more capitally efficient. And Jerry can expand upon that. Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Hi, everyone. Pleasure to meet you all, and thank you, Linda and Israel, for your leadership on this council. My name is Jerry Hayes. I'm a professor at Indiana University, Kelley School of Business. I've been teaching venture capital for 20 years. I've been studying this market as a practitioner, as a player, as a founder, investor, and then researcher. And I think there's a really amazing global opportunity, that is to bring the retail asset class into venture. The problem with that is that the traditional model of venture does not work for retail. It's not a winnable game. And if you can give retail investors a winnable game of venture, then we can bring billions of dollars into this ecosystem, get them in earlier, get more startups, get them into the queue for the angel groups to come in and back. So when people ask me what this is, I'd be happy to explain it. But if traditional venture is tennis, we play pickleball.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Aman Charki. I'm from the capital of Kurdistan region of Iraq, Erbil. I started off my journey as an entrepreneur from a street food to building an entity that's a house to more than 600 employees today. I am an active member of the Iraqi parliament. I'm the head of the subcommittee of renewable energy and innovation in Iraq. I have, in the past 3 years, I've been able to draft a policy for renewable energies in Iraq, and have been able to activate an initiative from the Central Bank of Iraq that is giving loans to residential and commercial businesses to establish solar powers equivalent to $800 million, and currently working on another initiative that would build an ecosystem for building an infrastructure for EV charging stations in the country. Linda, you mentioned the Angel Network board members. I did not find anyone from Middle East, and I think you should have a board member from Middle East. I'm really happy to be here. I'm here to take your experiences back to my country as a legislator and a policymaker to be able to benefit the most and help our entrepreneurship network. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Samantha Ginther. I work for BioCrossroads here in Indianapolis. We are a public-private partnership focused on furthering the life sciences community here in Indiana. And I spend most of my time on a venture fund that we are raising called Crossroads Health Ventures. It will be investing in human, plant, and animal opportunities located across the U.S. Thanks for being here and welcome to Indiana.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Carlins Joas. I'm with Plug and Play Tech Center based out of Silicon Valley. We connect startup companies to corporations for collaboration, as well as have an accelerator program. We have a global presence, 50 offices all over the world, and a presence in all those major markets. So thanks for having us.
morning, everyone. My name is Jerron Peoples. I'm the Managing Director of Private Capital at ARI. ARI is an applied research institution. We work with universities, governments globally, as well as startups, small businesses, large industry partners. And all, basically our goal is to help advance low technology readiness level tech to production ready through the lens of national security. So we use the term national security on purpose, not necessarily DoD. So we focus on everything from sports tech. So you look at an athlete, and you take that technology and you put that into just a normal human. How do you preserve health? How do you make people feel better? All the way to semiconductors and microelectronics. So we are currently doing some capital formation projects in the microelectronic space. And then we're also looking at potentially energy storage as well. So thank you for having me at the table this morning.
Good morning. I'm Jalal Hadrami, SME Development Manager at Oman Investment Authority, the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Oman. We have investments across over 50 countries around the world, from fund to funds, private equity, as well as venture capital. And we are also the owner of all of the government companies in Oman. 3 years ago, we made a decision in the government that we should focus more on developing the SMEs, helping them to get better procurement contracts as well as funding at the same time. I am here to learn more about what policies work best with you so we can implement them there in Oman. Thank you very much. I am honored to be with you here. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luis Narro. I come from Peru, but I'm representing a venture capital firm based in Córdoba, Argentina. We invest across the Spanish-speaking Latin America in more than 50 companies in Alaya's history. Maybe many of you have known Carlos Baradelo. He has been an active participant of the forum. So happy to be here and be representing Alaya as well. We're currently working on exiting our fund number 2. That's like something very concrete on our side, and also deploying fund number 3. We invest up to $1 million in companies tech-based, sector agnostic, and operating across Latin America. But we also invest in some Latino founders in the US, okay? Just so you have it in mind. And on my side, I come from an ecosystem development background. I've been working in Peru for the past 10 years. I've helped develop the Peru Venture Capital Association and also the first fund of funds for Peru. It's already active and it has already invested in 4 funds in Peru and in the region. And finally, I wanted to invite you all to Peru Tech Week happening on September 29th. We're going to have a series of events. The main event is the Peru Venture Capital Conference organized by PECAP, the Peru Venture Capital Association, in which I'm also a board member. So you're welcome to come for the food and stay for the tech.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ulukbek. I am coming from Uzbekistan. It's in Central Asia. Actually, I have here 2 hats wearing. So the number one, I am the member of a team who represent GEN in Uzbekistan. So for the last 7 years, we've been organizing a global entrepreneurship week in the country. I'm as a volunteer trying to, with my team, to develop their ecosystem of entrepreneurship in my country. For my professional part, I'm a serial entrepreneur for the last 20 years in several areas like agriculture, retail, construction, and consultancy. So here, in this event, I am representing my consultancy company, which is dealing with developing Islamic finance in the country, in the region. So we are trying to transform their businesses who are struggling to understand their notion, their way how it works, and we're trying to take them to the world to connect to their global economy. So here my objective specifically is to talk to their community of angel investors to with the call to focus on the region, to invest or to collaborate with the local businesses, because when we have government doing a lot on developing the businesses, but it's doing through the commercial banks basically, and I believe that it's not, the commercial banks are not the correct players to develop the businesses on the early stage. So I think the angel investment is quite the proper players. So I'm here to call for the collaboration in my region, and personally me with my company, with my team is ready to be in this cooperation. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Robert Mullings. I'm representing Jamaica and the United States. I am from Blue Moho Capital, and we offer retail investors an opportunity to invest back into the Caribbean. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Cheryl Stewart, Managing Director, GEN Jamaica. I am here to understand more about GBAN and to see how best we can develop a model that will work in our country. So as you notice, we have a team of 5 in this room.
Good morning. My name is Tanya Peralto, and I'm the Investor Relations Specialist for retail for Blue Moho Capital. And I finally found somewhere that I can build communities, and that's what I'm working on. So we want to help the average retail investor to be able to invest. So Jerry, yes, I would love to connect with you and get your insights onto how best to approach this.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Avon. I'm the managing partner, at ABS Capital, United States, based in Washington, D.C. We are a growth stage investor, typically investing in the earlier side of growth, software and tech-enabled services businesses and data businesses, kind of $5 to $50 million of revenue. Mostly in the U.S., North America, although we do select investing in Europe and the Middle East, and we are looking at potentially expanding into some situations in Latin America as well. Longtime angel investor and a 4-time entrepreneur founder. Really excited and honored to be here, and honored to be sitting right in the middle of the Jamaican delegation here.
He's now an honorary Jamaican. I'm David Mullings, representing Jamaica and Barbados. They didn't have a Barbados flag. I'm the chairman, founder, and CEO of Blue Moho Holdings, which set up Blue Moho Capital, a vehicle we're taking public on NASDAQ later this year to create a way for retail investors around the world to finally get easy exposure to the Caribbean. I wear multiple hats. I was a former chairman of the Mentorship, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship Program for the Development Bank of Jamaica, and also just got added to the board of Future Barbados, which works out of the Prime Minister's office to design a Barbados that's future-proof going into 2050. And we look forward to getting as many of you to the Caribbean as possible and learning from your ecosystem development, both the pain points and the solutions, because we are young in the Caribbean, and this is a group of 33 countries that are overlooked. We're not Latin America, we're not North America, but we are the front yard of the United States, and we ask you to remember that. Thanks.
Very good. My name is Mikey Doyer. I represent Epic Angels. We are globally the largest female-only angel investor collective. I have more than 600 women that are part of Epic Angels, and I really believe women are the future of angel investing. If you want to hear more about that, at 1 o'clock on the main stage, I do a keynote about that, so I'll explain more there. Our investors are based in 36 countries all over the world. Our investments are taking place in Asia and LATAM, so those are the two regions that we invest in. So when I got asked, like, what's the flag that you want? I was like, yeah, what do I pick today, right? Because I've lived in Europe, I lived in Asia, currently live in New York City, about to go further south. I picked Cambodia as my flag today because we actually are signing an investment in a startup in Cambodia, so I thought that was very symbolic.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I think a big thank you to Alejandra, to Linda, and to Israel. By the way, Israel is a world traveler. I see him everywhere, even on the beach. My name. I'm really delighted to have this cross-border interaction. I think it's really interesting to have face and name and the country that you represent. I've decided, just for the hell of it, to put the French flag. Where's my Algerian flag? It disappeared. Please bring it back. Basically, I want to stand out there in front of you and say I'm a French Algerian. I was born in Algeria. And don't ask me why I ended up in the UK for my training and formation and become an engineer at Portsmouth Polytechnic. So I became British. But in my heart, this is my two flags that I represent. And I'm really passionate about this ecosystem, be it the voice of the entrepreneur or be it the voice of the business angels, which is the topic of today. So I was the former president of a small French club called Sophia Business Angels. We've been around for 22 years. Some of you have heard of people like Candace Johnson as an example, space lady involved in Nice, in south coast of France. I was the president twice for 2 terms. And joined the French, it's called France Angels, which is 73 clubs in France that represent the French tech. And the 23, I think right now it's about 35 unicorns from French tech, thanks to Mr. Macron himself, committed president. And then I moved on, and right now I'm sitting with my friend Nicolas Rouhana, who spoke earlier on, which I'm really proud to represent GBAN, which is the largest federation of business angels in Europe. But not just that. We are proud that we kicked off 7 years ago, collectively, ABAN. So African Business Angel Network, that was launched 7 years ago. It was GBAN initiative, and I'm really proud of that. We did not stop there. We went ahead and did the Federation of the Moroccan Business Angel Network. And me personally, I co-founded the Investors of the Mediterranean, 23 countries around the Med, trying to do cross-border investment. And today, by accident, somebody was mentioning about the Middle East, completely by accident, don't ask me why again, I'm in Doha, Qatar, for the last 3 years. And with GBAN, we trained 150 Qatari business angels to launch 2 weeks ago. This is all public information, by the way. It's Business Angels of Qatar. And my ambition doesn't stop there. I'm hoping by the time I finish my mission in Qatar, my wife just opened her own VC. That's why I'm here. I blame you on my wife. So my ambition in the next 3 years, and watch for the space, I am genuinely optimistic that I'll be launching the Federation of the GCC Business Angel Network. Why we're doing all that? I think it's Jen, is the whole spirit of what we're here. We want to connect the world. We're a family. There's a trust element between us. So I'm looking forward to do all those amazing cross-border discussion, be it on the startup ecosystem. Last year, I don't know why, I thought I retired. I'm a former Cisco executive through an acquisition, and I thought I'm going to stop there. And QDB, Qatar Development Bank, asked me to come and advise them on their incubation acceleration. So retiring, not over my dead body. And I'm very thrilled to be here and to interact with all of you. Thank you very much.
Well, now that we've had a chance to meet, we'll like to shift now to regional and national updates. So a few of our members have prepared presentations about what their investment ecosystem is looking like. I think it's been great that now we know where everyone's coming from. So if anything resonates, we'll have after the presentations some minutes to have a Q&A. I encourage everyone to ask questions. Please feel free to connect with each other. Let's make sure that this conversation doesn't just stay here, but just travels all the way to your home countries and that we share this with our communities. The first speaker that I would like to call in to do the presentation is our representative from Anjos do Brasil. We prepared the PowerPoint, so we'll be sharing that as well. But we're very happy. I want to say they're also one of the largest, I believe the largest in Latin America. I think there's a lot of opportunities to collaborate in Latin America, the Spanish-speaking and the Portuguese-speaking. There's been so much development. We're all going to hear from our representatives, so please take the lead.
Thank you, Alejandra. I want to please ask well, thank you very much. I'm pleased and honored to be here representing Anjos do Brasil. I will share with you guys a little bit what we are doing in the past 14 years in Brazil, and I hope you can help and also make some collaborations with other countries. Well, we are a non-profit organization, that fosters angel investment and help fostering also the ecosystem, the entrepreneurship innovation ecosystem in Brazil. And we do that in 4 different areas, with angel network, with content creation and culture, institutional relations and public policies, and also to foster social impact. So our network, we have already more than 230 investments made in 14 years. We have members in 20 states out of 27 that we have in Brazil, more than 500 members, more than 20,000 people in our database, investors in our database. We have more than 10,000 startups evaluated, more than 200,000 entrepreneurs in our database as well. More than 100,000 social media followers and more than 10,000 people in our communities. So that's a little bit about our numbers. We also collaborate with other organizations in Brazil, other NGO groups, other organizations that fosters venture capital. This is how we are spread out all over the country. And I would like to point out these 12 verticals that we have specialists to analyze and invest in these 12 different areas and sectors that we are interested in investing in early stage startups. There are some successful exits. I would point out one of my own portfolio, ConstruCode. They have been accelerated by our company, Rede Mais, and then we invested with Anjos do Brasil, and we have an exit with less than 2 years to a large group company in the construction area. But I have a lot of others successful exits over the country. And we have other different initiatives. So we offer mentorship pro bono for startups that we have invested. We also have this national event, so you all are invited to join us. It will be held in Florianópolis, Santa Catarina, the south of Brazil, a beautiful place, a very important innovation hub in our country. It will happen on the August 26th. So if you want to join us, please use the code and talk to me later. And we also have a lot of courses in order to educate both entrepreneurs and also investors with venture capital, Anjos for Founders, and board members, and have also e-learning training in Portuguese for entrepreneurs. We also do webinars, ebooks, and we also have this annual survey in order to understand a little bit the numbers of angel investment in Brazil, what is going on, what are the numbers of new investments, new angel groups, and what's going on with the investment that we have been made in the past years. And we also have the Entrepreneurs Club that we provide them some benefits to be part of our network and be invested through Anjos do Brasil. And we have an active participation in all important forums, public forums and private forums and different groups that foster public policy in Brazil in order to help us have a better condition and less risk and more benefits to be an angel investor in our country. So that's it. So our contact, if you wanna be in contact with Angel do Brasil and let you know about what we are doing, there are our social media, our contacts, and I'll be glad to talk to you guys during this conversation today. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Now I would like to call on Dr. Vishal to share updates about the ecosystem in his country and the region. And I would like to mention that you could, basically, I want you to have a question in mind. What do you want these global investors to know about your country? What do you want them to know about your startups in your ecosystem? Because we're all going to go back home and share all of this with our community, so excited to hear.
Thank you, Alejandra. And yeah, the first person of this event that I know of is you now, because of it took around 30 hours plus for me to travel this time, and I made a point, almost fought with my mom to be here this time because there was something going on in family. And I made a point to come in because this voice is important. These people are legends, and all of you are doing amazing, incredible work in your community. And I definitely want to make a point to be present and also share that we need a lot of engagement, both on a collaboration, contribution, co-creation, investments, everything. I'm not interested that much right away in the investment side, as of a Nepali community is just kicking off its own ecosystem, what we call it, to connect the dot between all the players and components in the community. I was sincerely scared that will they find my flag? It's so unique, you know. That's where we all start our journey, because Nepal just stands out in a crossroad between being absolute poverty-driven community, donor-driven community. The kind of engagements that we have in our community is absolutely in a primitive stage. But we also have a lot of these legacy businesses, resources that is emerging. We have a lot of new tech ventures that is happening. And I was calculating with someone, there's one part of Nepal that you know about as being a country of Mount Everest and Buddha and those kind of things as an exotic country. But Nepal is also 30 million population base, sits in between, right between China and India, has the greatest economy and fastest growing economy with us around, with a 30% plus population base contact directly in South Asia. If I say that Nepali economy is emerging to become emerging market sooner because of the we have 10 verticals of economic domain that I have seen. I'm a surgeon by training, but I'm like aspiring, want to be an entrepreneur kind of thing. But what I've seen is we have 10 verticals that may propel Nepal as a 100 billion market in next 5 years. And I have a solid foundation to argue on that ground, because migrant population contributes around 10 billion of annual revenue in the country. We have tech emerging as a big enterprise ecosystem, and we have a lot of things. So it's the right time to think about that if we need to build an ecosystem, that we need a grassroots. What I struggled for to raise my first seed money that I did a few years ago, and I busted it all within a couple of years, that I never saw the $500,000 in my bank account. That's just cost. And I didn't meet you guys then because I was like 18, 19, and then COVID happened and we raised money. And health was very fascinating then because of the COVID's emotions. People were riding high that people were okay to invest. But what Nepal Angel stands out as is basically a kid of the Gen initiative itself. Because when I came in, I represented innovation in healthcare in the first Istanbul conference, and then when I met Tony and I talked with him, and then he's a African who was talking about Marcia was talking about African and his best friend probably, and he created Africa's first probably angel network. And I said, we never had this kind of ideas that we need that. And had it been there, I would have gone freely to the angels and talked about it apart from my friends and family, whom I need to convince that being an entrepreneur is more beneficial for community and country than to be just a cardiac surgeon, which my parents didn't agree and still they don't, which is kind of radical in itself. So we had a very intense conversation by the Bay of Bahrain. And I went home and I romantically got driven by like, okay, I'm going to create this one so that like future entrepreneurs doesn't have to struggle for the capital. And that again connected with the Padmaja, and she showed me when I was traveling to Delhi that how deal flow worked. Within 5 minutes, the investments rose in the Indian ecosystem that she was showing in my phone, in her phone. And I said, you got to mentor me because it's a long way for us to go in a deal flow application that they can close quite a big sum of money to be pitched by the startup in the application, and it just gets raised the money. And that's really happening around the world in a deal flow applications in a startup ecosystem. We were nowhere there. Somewhere we had to start. Somewhere we had to start, put the seed in the ground and start thinking about that maybe startups in our ecosystem can do it. Today, what I saw while I was talking yesterday, I asked a group of people in the community, like in the audience, how many of your country doesn't have an access to NPO like his, or what we are thinking about a Nepal Angels Network as an NPO, non-legacy, non-binding, non-conformist, open door policy for any startup with certain credibility and a mentors pool and an investments pool and a startups pool to come together as a community was an expensive adventure for even a country like Mexico or other developed countries also. It made me really proud that the idea itself is very strong, is needed for the community mobilization and entrepreneurship game. And I think I did a good decision to move on that direction. What I need, I've come a long way. I was just a panelist talking in innovation and healthcare. Now I'm talking with a round table, which I thought, wow, this is a prestigious community, you know. I'm here just because I took the right step to make sure that the startup in our country can have it. We failed with our first cohort of our board because they were not aware and not interested on looking at it from the risk side of it because they have to spend time and they don't get the return. But at the same time, what I see is to propel this work further is fundamental for any developing country. Today I'm talking about thinking about where the frontier market, emerging market, especially post-conflict like Iraq, such an inspiring work they're doing. I'm inspired by looking at those difficult market that we call, which are not standards out of a book, where you can go and invest as a, you know, the legality is there, the government tax benefits are there. It's not there. How gonna we do it? And it's same, my pain as a Sri Lankan pain, as in Bangladesh pain or Pakistan pain. Pakistan doesn't even have a 230 million population. They don't have a business angel network or, you know, that a community there. So he's gonna build it one, that's what he's saying. So the thing is, yeah, building, and this community is absolutely positive about it. Whatever you can do, mentor us, support us, not only in the monetary, because money is there in the community. It's not about they're not surviving, they're not doing business. They always do business. It's only they don't have a culture of investing in a risk finance, in that capital structure, what they're not used to. They're not confident. What we need to do, we need to educate, we need to engage, we need to empower, and we need to make them learn and aware that, okay, you can invest, you can raise money, you can come in this community and build it together. Thank you.
Amazing. So we're gonna do like a ping pong. So we're gonna go back to Latin America, and I would like to invite Vivi to share updates about the ecosystem of Bolivia. What would you like the audience to learn about it? And we're gonna save then the questions for the last, after everyone goes over their country updates. I know in the interest of time, I know it's gonna close at 11, so okay. Here we go.
Thank you. So Bolivia, if you've seen the news lately, we are going through a financial and a political crisis. Financial, there are no dollars in Bolivia. You cannot transfer dollars. So let me give you an example. In our accelerator program, we bring mentors from 10 different countries every year. Now we can't pay them because we cannot transfer dollars. And if we would have dollars in a bank, the percentage that we have to pay the bank is 175%. So my budget tripled in less than a month. We have elections in August. We're hoping that the next government will have in their agenda innovation, entrepreneurship. For the past years, we were not very connected with the government, given that this space was not even seen. So definitely being part of the Congress and being part of GEN, I'm hoping we're going to have more tools. We're going to have a voice to try to get the right, not only policies, because policies take too long. It's the attitude. It's the how you present your country, saying we want to bring ideas, solutions to a country that has all the problems that we share as countries, but we have one that's very, very important, and that's that we share with Brazil as well, the Amazon. We are burning the Amazon every year, and nobody knows how we can. How important this is for the whole world. And I'm very amazed. We talk every day with international experts, and they do not know that this is happening every year starting in September. So when you read the news in September, you're going to see the fires in Brazil and the fires in Bolivia that are handmade. I know we're talking about investment and we're talking about entrepreneurship and talent, but I think if we see investment and entrepreneurial talent apply to these world problems, and we know that in Bolivia you have a Viviana or you have an accelerator, that's how you should conduct everything that we have. Investment. Yesterday was, they said resources, money, know-how, solutions. Bolivia is a very good place to test everything. The kindness and the humility of their people, of my people, is amazing. I've lived in 6 countries, and I've traveled over 45. And when I come home, it's always something that strikes me, how hungry we are of education, and how humility can be a big part of how we can develop different alliances with other countries. So, I started because I nominated myself to be the president. I said, I'm going to be the president of the first VC association because funds started asking for 25% of the startups and everything that's wrong, right? And when that started, I said, I'm going to do something. And basically, I called my friends from different countries, said, oh, I'm going to start the VC association in Bolivia. And they helped me. And it works, right? And now it's the second year. I was the only one going to the Venture Capital Association conference, the only Bolivian or 2 Bolivians. And now this year, I think there were like 12 in the association. So collaboration does work in Latin America. I'm also part of We Invest, Women in Venture Capital. And I think that's an amazing program and that has educated a lot of women on how to manage different areas of a portfolio and investment in Latin America. It's also become a support group in terms of that in each conference we create, like we did in Puerto Rico, we do this. And we share best practices. We share contacts. We are really active in Latin America as women investors as well. So if I would like for you to remember Bolivia is that yes, we're starting with venture capital. We are a very open country to pilot everything and anything. Small market, yes, but we'll give you great feedback and great support with a lot of humility. And if you want to visit, please let me know because we have the Venture Capital Conference in Santa Cruz, Bolivia right now in July. So happy to talk further about my country.
Wonderful. So now I'm going to call on Jalal so you can share some updates about your ecosystem. I would like to hear especially like what are some of the major trends or shifts you're seeing in the investment space. If you could share also what are some of the promising programs that your country is implementing. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Listening to the stories is really inspiring, and it shows a lot of passion towards entrepreneurship and making sure that our startups and SMEs grow. And I think the belief to everybody here that part of the growth of the country, or the major important part of the growth of the country, relies on our SMEs and startups. So it's really amazing to see all of these insights. So in Oman, by December 2024, we reached about 129,000 SMEs and startups were established, which is very huge, and the efforts are very huge. Also by 2024, we had approximately 209 training programs, benefited approximately 30,000 entrepreneurs. These are numbers mentioned by the SME Authority. For Oman Investment Authority, because we represent all of the government companies in Oman, which goes on an annual spend, procurement spend more than 2 billion Oman Riyal, which is approximately $9 billion, which is very huge spend. We decided to look at the SMEs and startup as part of our growth. So we started to think of what are the programs that we need to look at. And then the first thing we did is understanding the framework and the main 6 pillars that SMEs and startups need to grow with, which is building capacity, access to finance, access to market, expansion and scale up, research, development, and innovation. And these are the main, and ease of doing business, of course. So these are the main 6 pillars that we started to look of them each independently and try to fix them. So starting from ease of doing business, we try to make incentives, and we try to make these incentives attractive to SMEs and startups to make sure that these startups and SMEs can easily get procurement contracts within the government companies. So the first thing we decided is the annual total procurement spent to SMEs and startups should not be less than 10%. And we made then a KPI that this 10% should increase 2% annually. Happily, by the end of December 2024, we reached 19% of our government spend goes to SMEs and startups, which goes more than approximately $900 million. So that was a very big milestone that we have achieved. When it came to research and development and innovation, one of the challenges we found that SMEs and startups think of different ideas, and most of these ideas may not work, or they are not aligning with the vision of Oman 2024 vision. So what we try to do is we introduce business technology mapping to our OIA entities, and we ask all of the government entities to do this practice, the business technology BTM mapping practice. The whole idea of this practice is to understand as a government company what are the challenges that you are facing, and then what are also the opportunities that may emerge in the next 5 years. And then list these challenges and opportunities and then prioritize them. Accordingly, we announced these challenges and opportunities last year to different hackathons. And within the hackathons, we invited the academics, the researchers, as well as the innovators and entrepreneurs in one room. And we have done different hackathons in different governance countries. And the results and the outcomes were really great. We started to see that entrepreneurs are working with the researchers and innovators to get the solutions to OI entities. So now some of these solutions are in the pilot stage this year. And then we decided, you know what, we have to do this annually from now on. Entrepreneurs cannot work alone. They need the support of understanding the challenges. But some of these challenges are deep tech challenges, are very difficult for entrepreneurs to know. So we also need the academics and the researchers to be part of the ecosystem. So we made the circle and it worked out. With that, we also established the Future Fund Oman, where 10% of it, 500 million USD, goes to SMEs and startups. So now we have the challenges, we have the piloting, and as well as the funding to support the whole ecosystem. So this is just what I tried to briefly mention. There are different other programs, but this is the most milestone steps that we have achieved. And alhamdulillah, it worked out. Thank you very much for giving me the space to share our insights. Thank you.
So now I would like to give the floor to Nicolas to share an update as a representative of GBAN.
Wake up, Nicolas.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can keep it brief too, so.
Sorry? Yeah. Okay. Again, glad to be here. As I said, I come from Lebanon, but I'm the citizen of the world, as they say. Because of the stuff that we did in Lebanon, I was honored to be elected board member on GBAN a few years back. And the idea when we joined GBAN, and this is why also I'm extending the invitation for you guys to join GBAN as well, because there's a lot of learning and sharing knowledge that is out there. And for us, Europe was, central, is closer to the States, closer than the States, for that matter. So, so collaboratively with GBAN at the time, we've created, a program to start up business angel groups in Lebanon. It worked very well over 5 years. Unfortunately, I hear my colleague from Bolivia, about the dollar, and this is what happened in October 2019, and we're still struggling since then. But anyways, I will not go there. I have to be positive, and move on. So going back to GBAN, so it's not just about Lebanon. Going back to GBAN, and the reason we joined is, also to become part of a community, and GBAN is like another umbrella of organization. So as I said in my presentation, when I took the first mic, so GBAN is the European voice of angel investing, and it groups more than individually more than 10,000 angel investors spread across federations and networks of business angels across Europe and outside Europe as well. There are members in Asia, South America, in the US, and obviously Middle East. What it does, it's when you go to GBAN events, and concurrently to this is the annual congress of GBAN, which we missed with Marcel. So we're the two that missed the GBAN Congress, the annual GBAN Congress, which gathers more than 3,000 investors from across Europe, and it's one of those places where you go and just meet investors. It's like investors all around and sharing knowledge. Obviously, there are some startups, and there are some competitions, but mainly it's one of those big conferences where you just see investors. That there are investors, and you can exchange, share knowledge, and think about what they're doing in their countries and how they can help out. And as Marcel said, there are a lot of programs that GBAN does all across Europe, and with the members is training, obviously. Also, we have several chapters. There's the gender, there's the space. Help me out, Marcel, if there's something that I'm missing.
The latest baby, we have health, we have space, but the latest one is sports tech.
Sports is the new one. And so so again, some verticals and committees that develop these types of verticals, and This year they started in GBAN, business angel network community, where business angel managers come together and also share knowledge and share experience on how to manage their network, and that is pretty awesome as a program, so that people relate and engage and see how others are doing and try to customize. That's how we did. We customized what the band managers were doing in Europe, and we started it from scratch in Lebanon a few years back. So I encourage you to look at GBAN, and we can talk together how GBAN can help you in either Oman or Iraq, Nepal, maybe, to see how we could take this one step further. We're not far from you guys. We're central, and so we could eventually try to hook up and network and see how we could engage with you. Thank you very much.
Perfect. So now in the interest of time, I would like to invite Mr. Sashindra to share some highlights about the ecosystem of Sri Lanka, and what will you say to fellow global investors about your startups in your country?
Thank you very much for the time given, and I was honored to meet most of you and present Sri Lanka and what we put on the table. In terms of the country and the development that we see, we recently had election which placed a president, a parliament, and a provincial council all one major party. So we see a future of 5 years for this particular party who will take things forward and the policies that is being enacted. Why I'm highlighting that is because for the past 10 years, we've had 5 presidents. And now we see consistency, and therefore we had various issues which you have read about Sri Lanka. And that's the hope that we are giving those who are in Sri Lanka to remain within Sri Lanka, and also those who want to invest and work with Sri Lanka, especially in certain things, to break ground. And that's what we are inviting, especially the Gen Network, to break ground with us in some of the things that I'm going to discuss, to be partner with us and take that bold step forward like we have discussed. So in terms of our entrepreneurial ecosystem, yes, you would know of large industries in Sri Lanka which were in tea, that Dilma, apparel, which has apparel sector, which has produced some of the main brands in the world. Third is tourism. So there are big entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka which have done well and have gone global with their product. But then we saw the rise of tech entrepreneurs, which is from 2010, which is a big policy that we brought in to support tech entrepreneurship as a country, because of course for obvious reasons of less barriers to entry, less capital, and which a country like ours can work through knowledge-intensive work that can be done. So with that, we saw a rise of tech entrepreneurship starting from 2010 to 2015. And some of the highlights that we bring in is from that tech entrepreneurship space. We have about 1,000 tech startups in Sri Lanka spread across the country. 1/3 of them are beyond the main capital, or what we call the Western Province. They're spread across. There are multiple hubs. And we've seen traction of many investors in Sri Lanka during the past 3 years. Investors like EQT, which European investor, which just bought out a company called WSO2 for $600 million. K3 Ventures, Accelerate Asia, BRAC, which is from Bangladesh, Intel, and JP Morgan, which has brought in investment to these companies. And we've seen companies which have especially exited. There are major 2 exits that we had during the past 2 years, and all in the tech scene. So the major attraction in Sri Lanka and the policies that we are trying to drive, and that's why ICT agency is being represented today, is we are pushing the tech entrepreneurship as a way for achieving our country goals, which is a $32 billion export revenue, a $15 billion digital economy, and a $5 billion digital industry. And this is where we see as our main driver for Sri Lanka to achieve the GDP revenue that we require. And for that, we have put together a soft landing program for VCs, which we are now enacting. This is, I guess, one part of it, working with many other countries. And We are opening up not only for Sri Lankan startups, but we've opened up for the region. Nepali startups, Bangladeshi startups, Indian startups, Bhutani startups, Maldivian startups to be part of this program. And there are two major things. One, a venture competition taking place called Venture Engine in partnership with the Indian Angel Network and the Lankan Angel Network together. And then a conference specifically talking about the VC ecosystem, the successes that take place, and then an innovation festival so that you can be immersed with the Sri Lankan ecosystem alongside, I would say, a more regional ecosystem to get that flavor. So I want to highlight three major things that we want you to partner with us in Breaking Ground, which is the fund of funds that we plan to launch. Will you be part of it? Yes, you would have to set up a fund in Sri Lanka to be part of it. So I'm putting this forward to the board. And then there's one major change, which is the port city, which is a financial hub, which has a 25-year of tax benefits, and then no pay tax involved. So it's a new vehicle that is formed in Sri Lanka, like a Dubai. So we want to engage with you if that's something that would interest you. We want to understand, like we've discussed, if we are to build that trust with you for Sri Lanka to become a place that you will bring your funds into, what are the changes you want us to make? Because this government is ready to do that. The tax structures, reforms that is to be brought in and to build that trust with you. And thank you very much, and I hope we can collaborate.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I think we all are going to have some food for thought, and we have 10 minutes left. So I would like to now pass the floor to Marcel so he can share his updates. And please save your questions, have them ready, because Marcel will be the last one, and then you can ask your questions and start some collaboration opportunities, ideas.
This is exactly what it is. It's all about collaboration. Just think about what's happening in the GCC. You know, people, we like him or we don't like him. Trump came in and took a lot of trillions, especially on AI from the GCC countries. There's an initiative that you might be interested in. This is really towards the growth companies. It doesn't matter where you are, Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala, Africa, it doesn't matter where you are, even from the US. If you have a growth company, pre-Series A, Series A, and you want to help them to do a soft landing in the GCC, there's a brilliant idea that was crafted in a very smart way, and I said, wow, I need to share it with you. So the first VC of Qatar, called Rasmal Venture, anchored by QIA, Qatar Investment Authority, is a $130 million fund. And what they're doing now, as we speak, they are in Korea and they are in Singapore. They are onboarding LPs, but not in any way, I want your money. They're actually onboarding LPs from fund of funds, family offices that have a portfolio of growth companies that want to come to the Middle East for the GCC marketplace. And the best example, this is public information, Tunisia fund of fund called Smart Capital just put 4 million in Ras Al Mal, telling them there's 10 Tunisian startup ecosystem growth companies that want to come to the GCC. So that way, you're helping your own country growth companies to do a soft landing in the area. Something else you should think about, the GCC, don't look at it as Saudi Arabia 40 million, UAE 3 million, Qatar 2.4 million. Who cares about, I mean, it's not a big market. But what's happening right now is going to be the gateway moving east. Turkey, Pakistan, India, Malaysia, Indonesia. That's the vision of what the Gulf is trying to do for other companies, especially in LATAM as well. So I just thought I want to share with you as a kind of a initiative for cooperation cross-border. Thank you.
Perfect. Since Marcel was really good with the time, I would love to now open the floor for any questions, comments, or if you would like to, for example, share anything that resonated with you from one of our speakers today or all of you that were presenting. I think please feel free to use this time. if you have any questions. No one has questions.
Just put your hand up when you want to take the microphone. Yep, we'll go over there. Wait.
I want to share some thoughts about Iraq and most of the GCC countries. As most of us know that most of the countries in Middle East, let's say, they have an economy that's oil-based, mainly. And that's why no one really looks into that. As Marcel mentioned, Trump came and took billions and went. The problem is in Iraq right now, we are on the verge of sort of an economical bankruptcy, sort of, as our colleague from Bolivia mentioned, we don't have dollars. We don't have dollars, and economically we are struggling. The funny thing is the only way out for Iraq today is to diversify the economy towards a private sector. And the fastest way is through building a stable entrepreneurship ecosystem. What we want from you is your experience, because we don't have a culture that has any knowledge about entrepreneurship. We do have a base. There's a lot going on, but not with a stable, steady roadmap that could prosper and grow. Thank you.
Can I just give you just a $0 feedback there? I think all of us don't realize what the diaspora is doing. So my advice to you, you really need to do some hunting on amazing Iraqi diaspora. There's an initiative in California called Tech Wadi that's been around for, I don't know how many of you heard of Tech Wadi, been going for about 15 years. Palestinians, Algerians, Tunisians, Syrians, Iraqian, and by the way, Steve Jobs was from a Syrian lineage as an example. You'll be amazed what diaspora can do for you. So this is a good time for you to start doing some research. They're the ones who wants to give back. Me, I was born in Algeria. I'm telling you, for the last 2 years, I love giving back of my time. So think about that one as well. That's my advice to you.
Can I ask?
Shall we continue with Iraq and then we move to the right? Shall we?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you for our MP from Iraq. We really thank you for making the time to join this conference. Actually, Marcel, I totally agree with you. I don't want to seem like a very giving a historical lecture about the talent in Iraq. We invented algorithm. We invented all the science which all the country now using to accelerate in technology and in every field in the world. We don't lack talent, actually. I just, one of my colleagues just joined, came from Silicon Valley. He is the global engineer, head of global engineer of HP. He's an Iraqi, he's my colleague. He just came to see it and support the Iraqi delegation. Recently, an Iraqi doctor, he had a discovery through AI to discover why autism. It's an association with a blood group. And we have one of the doctors who's, again, Iraqi, who can discover like cancer 10 years before it happened through the support of AI. Anyway, we don't lack talent, but we lack the nurturing environment of keeping the pool of talent in Iraq. They always say if the doctors in Britain, Iraqi doctor in Britain resign from the healthcare will collapse down. So I'm so glad we have a legislator from our country. I'm lucky to manage. You know, the Deputy Strategic Investment of JP Morgan, she's an Iraqi. And now she's advising GCC how to make it happen. So luckily, they call me the connector. I find all these Iraqi all over the world. I'm trying to bring them back to Iraq, not to stay, just to advise our government and advise our community, support them to bring investment, and what does it take to be attractive for foreign investors. Luckily, in the last 6 months or year, we got one of the 2 major big businessmen from Egypt investing in Iraq, like hundreds of, like maybe $10 billion in Iraq infrastructure. And we have many investors from GCC, but we believe we can do better by nurturing and creating an enabling eco-environment and safe for the international investor. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So after hearing all the amazing things everyone is doing here, and a lot of thoughts came to my mind, and one of them is like, we work with entrepreneurs in different stages, and we all know that entrepreneurs, especially in early stage, especially not coming from big markets like the US, usually struggling getting to get going, the early money to get going. And especially also when it's an angel investing, usually angel investing club doesn't have the ability to put all the money. So what I'm suggesting here around this table is to share deal flow. If there is a company that raising from any of the angel clubs or early VCs around this table, just maybe to have something together to start sharing, hey, we have invested in this, we invite you all maybe to check it out. And also, this is not only the money, but this is also opening the market where the other angel club coming from, because this also a big struggle for early stage entrepreneurs to penetrate new markets, especially overseas. Usually these entrepreneurs doesn't have the connections, doesn't have the people to open the doors for them. So I highly recommend maybe taking this initiative forward. Would love to help, would love to be part of it. Yeah, and thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you so much. I would like to add that one of the things that we are doing this Thursday is an investor matchmaking. So if you go into the Gen app, there is an event for 9 a.m. that is called investor matchmaking. There's a link for founders and a link for investors. This is gonna go throughout the morning of Thursday, but it will live throughout the year and for so on. So I will encourage all of you to share that form with the founders that you were mentioning, to share deal flow, and also with the investors that you think will be interested in connecting with international startups. So we will be making those matchmaking. I don't know if already people have been receiving the emails, but we usually will be sending you a list of startups that match your investment thesis. So I encourage everyone to feel free to share that. And I'll hope to see you on Thursday. Is there any other remarks that anyone? Oh, perfect.
I just have one quick query, and also a thing to think about. If Angel Network and Angel Enterprises, which are like private owned or charity run, are usually grass downward up, like there are individuals who are investing, they get together and they try to. Now we have GBAN and GBAN, and we have EBAN and other institutions. Have you guys thought about like directly hand-holding those institutions which are in the grassroots to help them from top-down engagements, which is part of it too, but then it may be a direct relation to establish and to have some kind of mentoring, support, navigating, and then also fostering those relations in more stronger way can be a good strategic benefit for smaller community, not even country, like where they are struggling to establish their foothold on angel network development. Palestine is here, Iraq is probably looking forward to that. We and Sri Lanka are right in front of you. So we are struggling because of the enterprise ecosystem is very novice, but we can accelerate. That's what we do in startup all the time and incubate. And that can be something that we can definitely we look handholding. We are ambassadors in our country. We've done our work, but we also need a lot of help and support and navigate through these challenges. But this is something that we can probably work it out. Thank you.
Maybe I would just like to add a little bit of a commercial plug here, and that the Angel Capital Association representing the United States has what they call Angel University. And we offer courses both online, on demand, as well as what they call butts in the seats, for those of you who want to physically come and attend any of our courses. But they're very rich, very engaging, and they're everything from the introductory, how to become an angel or who is an angel, all the way up to very sophisticated topics such as due diligence, cap tables, secondary markets. So the whole span of educational opportunities. And I encourage you to go online to angelcapitalassociation.org, and you can see the offerings there.
So I'm joining a university back. Thank you.
So just going on from the point that you have made and what Linda has given as an option, we as GBAN also have our own programs that we are looking at deploying. But one of the things, apart from all the structure that you can find with ACA, you can also find it with EBAN, they also have deployed into ABAN. You'll find all these tools that are available. A lot of them are pretty much the same because they're structures that have been working for a number of years. Now, coming from an emerging region and economy, I can mirror what you are saying. Sometimes what works in one region like Europe or in the United States doesn't necessarily can implement straight away into other countries. So what we're trying to do now as a GBAN is understand the region that you work in, what tools we have there, and what challenges you have. And normally the easiest challenge to respond to is how an angel network can be self-sustainable and should work. Pick up whatever tool online and you'll see that they're pretty much the same. But when you say why and how people invest and what makes them move as a human beings to then decide that their wealth they have created, they're going to dedicate a check onto somebody who has a dream that might or might not become a reality, that's something very different. That's starting from the top bottom, but to actually create the great business people that you have that are wealthy. How do you turn them into an obligation to respond to the needs of their country, to respond to the needs of deploying that capital in? If you don't have a very wealthy government that can support that system, you have that challenge. You might have the tools that are ready from any of these associations, but if you don't have how to move the people that need to write the check and how to touch them to say, I'm going to do it for my country, I'm going to put a check in, I don't know how much I'm going to get out, but actually I want to support my fellow countrymen in Iraq, I want to support them in Nepal, I want to support them in Sri Lanka. How do I make sure that these business people don't put their money somewhere else, don't buy a real estate in another wealthy country and they're putting the dollars out or the, or the rupees out. They actually have to put them back into it, some of it. That is the key. That is the key to moving the people in your country to invest, to turn them into real angel investors.
To cut the wedge in it from conventional investing cycle to a startup and new business ideas in SMEs is something that you guys can bring in as a platform which recognizes these angels, at least for 100 investment fund, like investments done, can be a Kickstarter package which can be fostered by the relations. I mean, those kind of things can be worked it out offline. And I raised my case. Sorry. I hold it on. Thanks, man.
You
Can you do a big applause to Alejandra, to Linda, and to my friend Israel?
All right, thank you everyone for joining us. Please, I invite you all to join us at Fundraising Strategies for Venture Capital Funds, which is a session that's going to be starting at 3 p.m. I would love to see you all there where we can continue having this conversation, and we're having an investor-only happy hour today in the afternoon. So, all of you, please, I look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you very much. One more.